Hello, I'm Farzin Majidi, Interim Dean at the Graduate School of Education and Psychology. Sherry, China, my colleagues, dear members of the Pepperdine community. Although I'm thousands of miles away in Seoul, South Korea, my heart and mind is heavy and it's there with you. But today is not a day for heavy hearts. We are celebrating the life of Kian Brown. Kion and I were standing in probably the room you're in today, a few weeks ago during the Belonging Summit. He introduced me to the audience. I had the privilege of doing the keynote, and he introduced me to the audience. And just before we started, the two of us huddled in front of the room and started talking about his name. And I asked him, I said, Kion, do you know your name is Farsi? It's from, the part of the world I grew up in. And he said he knew, and we talked about the two meanings the word Kion has. One is a king, and the other one refers to a realm. And I said, you're a king, and you're in your own realm, so you're double Kion. And the two of us shared the laughter, and then he read my bio. And at the end of it, I looked at him and I said, man, you read that with such enthusiasm and such joy and such a big smile on your face that he really made me feel important. I should ask you, if they ever have to introduce me again, I should trouble you and then ask you to read that bio again. And then that's how Kion did everything. He did that with passion, with enthusiasm, with so much joy, with that big beaming smile, and that dedication to make the world work for everybody, to make the world a better place. That came from his heart. That came from his commitment. So his name was Iranian, and I shared with him something about that culture, and I want to do some more of that. The 13th century Persian poet named Sadi has left us with this poem that I think is really apropos for this moment. He reminds himself, he says, Sadi himself, he says, a man with a good name never leaves this Kion. Somebody who has a good name never leaves this world, this realm. One passes away only when his name leaves this Kion. And as long as you're remembered, as long as you live in everybody's memory, you live forever. And truly, Kion will live with us forever. He touched all of our lives. He was every part of our community. He brought so much joy, so much passion, so much enthusiasm to everything, that he will always occupy his place in our mind, in our hearts. And for that, he will forever live with us and among us. Right now, he is sitting up there in heaven with the Lord, and he's got that big beaming smile, and he's trying to help make the other realm, the other Kion, a better world. So, family, friends, we were really blessed. We were really blessed to have this gift. We didn't get to have him as long as we wanted to, because I know Kion had plans for his dissertation, his work and everything, and he shared some of that. But the Lord always has different plans, and his plans are wiser, are better, and always prevail. He's in a good place. He's looking down upon us. He's among us. And let's keep his memory, his joy, his enthusiasm, his dedication and commitment to life as a part of us. And that way, he will forever be with us. Thank you for this opportunity for me to share this message. It makes me feel like I'm part of the celebration, and it's very cathartic at a time where we all need that. Thank you very much, and Godspeed.
What can I say? Kion Chancellor Brown. We know him as Chancellor. Just an incredible human being with an incredible heart. His spirit just filled the room. And might I add, beautiful hair, beautiful skin, and that beautiful bright smile. Always a blessing and privilege to be in the same room and in space as Kion. And I know from the very first moment, I think we all met him. We all knew what he wanted to do. He's like, hey, I'm the Chancellor. You're like, okay, Chancellor. And I just loved how he just empowered all of us to live the future now. That's something that one of our professors mentioned, and he was just like, okay, he said it, so that's what we're doing. He acknowledged all of us as doctors. So I'm Dr. Kirby, he was Dr. Brown. There was no I'm just this, and this will be felt, not just now, in a few months. This will be felt our entire journey here at Pepperdine. It's not only affecting, our direct cohort, but all of GSEP, all of Pepperdine, and anybody that he came across, regardless if they were a friend, an acquaintance, or a stranger, which I don't believe anyone he met was a stranger, because he just made them feel like we were all friends and a part of his tribe. And I know one of the last messages that we shared, I was thanking him for always going over and beyond, for making sure we always had something to do when we came in for face-to-face, our hybrid weekends that we did. And he was so proud of that. And his response, which I will share, was that he was good at doing it. And he loved experiencing all of us in different environments. And so he was prideful of that. He was proud of that. And I was happy to contribute and participate in any way that I can, as well as others. I don't know. It's just tough to put in words, the loss. So I can't even imagine Kion's family and how they feel, as it has touched us so deeply. So my prayer is that they will find peace. And it's, sometimes you say, gone too soon, but God doesn't make mistakes. And although it's hard, we're sitting here trying to understand why. Only God knows that answer. But I know that the time Kian was here, he made an impact, and he lived a life that we all should aspire to live. And so, in the words of the young folk, right, I believe with all my heart that Kion understood the assignment of what God had for his life. And we will honor Kion throughout our time here at Pepperdine and beyond. He will walk that stage with us, Lord willing, in 2025, 2026, however long it takes us. But we will be there, and he will be standing on our shoulders, making sure we get across that stage, and we'll be there making sure he's across that stage as well. So,
my name is Andrea O'Neill, and I am sending love to the family of Kian Brown. Kion was my dear, dear friend. We first met because we had a writing class together for the fall 2022 semester in the doctoral program at Pepperdine University. We not only had the class together, but we were in a group together because we had a research project to work on. And when we were trying to come up with a topic, Kion said, I'd like to maybe do it on university presidents, leadership characteristics of university presidents. And I was like, that sounds like a great topic. And he said, I want to be a university president. And I said, you know what? I can so see you doing that. And he said, of course you can, because you're going to be there with me. He was like, I'll need someone like you working with me. And we were just fast friends after that. Whenever I would fly to Los Angeles, we were going to see each other. We were going to hug each other. We were going to have lunch. We were going to have dinner together. We were going to talk and talk for hours, it seemed, just changing topics and coming back to earlier topics we had explored. We always dreamed together because Kion was such a dreamer. And he was not only a dreamer, but he knew the steps to take to make that dream manifest, to put it into, to make it become. He was such a force. And when I say a force, just a force, electric, energetic, a force of love, a force of positivity, of compassion. He just was a beautiful, beautiful person. And I enjoyed my friendship with him. It was easy. It was gentle. It was special to be acquainted and attached with Kion. Just a lovely, lovely person. And for the Achieve Summit, I wanted to read the text that I sent him. I knew that it would be a wonderful event because he did everything with excellence. He did everything giving his whole self to it. There was no other way. So on that morning, I just wanted him to know that I was thinking of him and believing that it was going to turn out wonderfully well. And my text to him was, "Good morning. I am excited for the wonderful and purposeful changes this day will bring. Take it all in. I am wishing you an amazing, life-changing day. Your hard work on display for all to witness and enjoy. Cheering for you. Love you, Andrea." And so later in the day, he sent me a text back and he said, "Thank you so much. Love you." And that was so our friendship. We dearly and deeply loved and enjoyed each other. It was as if we'd known each other for years. And so I want to send my deepest love to Kion's family. And I want you to know, and I know you already know this, he was such a special person. And you raised such a wonderful son, such a beautiful son, such an incredible person. And I will never stop missing him. I will never forget what he meant to me, what he meant to my life. And I'm just sending you all my love. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to share a little bit about how much Kion has meant to me and the remembrance of him and how I will continue to honor him going forward. So from the moment that I met Kion in orientation for Pepperdine in August of 2022, the first thing that stood out the most to me was how passionate he was about making the world a better place and in forming communities. Even though I didn't get a chance to work with him in a class one-on-one, anytime I had a chance to see him in a seminar, in a hallway, or during a post-class social gathering, I knew that Kion was somebody who really appreciated forming bonds with people, being able to share goals and projects, and to overall find community, belonging, and purpose with one another. He would always refer to me as Dr. Gomez, and it really meant the world to me knowing that I was already in a place where I belonged. And above all else, Kion was able to encourage me to go beyond what was capable or what I was capable of previously. He's somebody who has continued to push me towards wanting to attend conferences, to publish papers, to reach out to people, to network, and I've been amazed at the growth that I've seen within myself through Kion's influence. And so the one thing I'm going to miss the most about him is not being able to share with him all the amazing things that I have and will accomplish in the future. But probably the one thing that I'll do my best to honor Kion's legacy is to finish up my doctorate at Pepperdine, to be able to be a published author in academia, and to present at conferences, to be able to share my influence on the world, to make people feel like they belong in their spaces, and to be able to inspire people to step outside their comfort zones and to be able to reach beyond their previous limits, to make the world a better place and to realize more about themselves than they previously did. And another thing that I will do to remember Kion is to always remind people about how much his influence has meant to me and how much I want to continue to be a great influence to the people around me. To all Kion's family, his friends, his loved ones, please know that Kion was somebody who was the heart of our Pepperdine cohort. He is somebody who embodied the values of purpose, service, and leadership. And it's something that I will continue to appreciate and recognize and share to everybody who I come across with. And though I will miss you very much, Kion, I know that you are alive and well within each and every one of us. So thank you for your time with us. And I will continue to live the life that you did, to make sure that each day is a win, to make sure that I do be the best version of myself each and every day, because tomorrow is not guaranteed, and overall do my best to honor you the way that I know my best how. Thank you.
Hi, this is Allie, and I am a classmate of Kian's. I also served as the social committee co-chair with Kian. He asked me in September of last year to do this. Actually, I think I was more voluntold, but I'm so glad that I said yes, because it gave me a chance to get to know him better. I'm in Seoul, Korea, and I just got done walking a very big hill. I am in the Seoul City Wall Museum area, and behind me is one of the 4 gates that protected Seoul. It was built in the 1300s, and it is also near what I'm going to call a fashion district area. I walked through that before I came over to this park, but in the fashion district area there were shoes, there were all kinds of clothing, apparel, jewelry, anything that had to do with fashion. And I decided this was a good time for me to stop and make my memorial video for Kian, because I was reminded when I walked through there of Kian, and every time I saw him, how well dressed he was and how good he smelled. I always enjoyed his smile, his warm personality, his incredible optimism that he had for everything. And as co-chair with him on the social committee, one of the reasons why I said yes was when I asked him why he thought the social committee was so important. He said that he learned in August, when we were all together for the orientation, that there were going to be some bumpy times ahead of all of us. Some of us would be in a 3-year program, some 4, but that it was important that we all stuck together, got to know each other, felt included, belonged, and that we were important, and that no matter what, we had someone else to lean on. And so it was vital to him that we created that out of class time so that we could get together, share a few laughs, share an adult beverage, whatever that might be, but just to support one another. So I am incredibly surprised about what happened just last week. And I know that everything happens for a reason, and so I'm hoping that while I'm here in Seoul, I will be able to make peace and celebrate Kian's life. And so today, on this first day of my international trip, getting here a day earlier than the rest of the delegation that's coming from GSEP, I am looking for that and enjoying the solitude, but also thinking about Kian. So thank you for helping us get to know him. He was an incredible person, and his spirit remains strong in all of us.
First person I met and saw on our first day of class, I was in the in-person class with Kian, and so we were together every Thursday from 4:30 p.m. to about 10:15 p.m. every week. We did papers together, presented together. We spent a lot of time with each other, and not just learning about the things we were learning in our classes, but also about each other. And I used to tease him because we both were preacher's kids. And so he told me that his dad was a pastor. And so whenever he would present, I told him he was putting on his Baptist preacher voice, and that he was channeling his dad because he spoke in a very pastoral way, and his tone and the cadence in which he talked was very pulpitish. And so whenever he would go up to present it, I was like, all right, remember, that's not a pulpit. But that was one of the many jokes we had. He was the person who made sure that we had coffee. He would go get coffee for one of our professors. And when he wasn't there, when he was traveling to Dubai, he asked me, could I take on that role for him? So it was such a blessing to be able to see him live out his dreams and not be apologetic about who he was and what he was doing and what he wanted to do. Everybody knew he was going to become the Chancellor of North Carolina Central University. Everybody knew how much he cared and loved about that school. He was trying to recruit some of us to come and help him and work either in a consulting capacity or on campus. We knew how much he loved his fraternity, Ka Psi. So we all knew who he was because he was such a light. You could not be a member of our cohort and not know him. And so I'm pretty sure that you'll hear this from the other videos that you get from other classmates and people in our cohort, that he truly was an inspiration. He took the time to try to encourage everybody. He took the time to make sure that everybody knew that they mattered. And I pray that we did the same for him. I'm grateful that I knew that he confided in me with certain things. If he had a disagreement with somebody, he would ask me my opinion and what I thought he should say and how things would go. And again, even outside of that, my son is finishing his first year of Morehouse, and he's in student leadership there. And so I was looking forward to Kian being able to talk to him over the summer because he wanted to impart into him some wisdom on student leadership. And so it is extremely heartbreaking for me to know that that won't happen. But I still know that my sons will be able to take on Kian's legacy and making sure that he fulfills what Black men are supposed to do in this country, especially in the collegiate space and the leadership space. And so I'm happy that I will be talking to Dr. Gabby Miramontes about finishing his dissertation and working on that. And I hope you guys know how much he loved you guys and how much of a light he was to us. So I know that he took a leap of faith in coming to Los Angeles, California, and leaving all he knew to start over. Something else I used to tease him about is we had to do a lot of readings. And so, of course, when he first got here, he wasn't accustomed to, needing or having a car. So he would take his Uber everywhere. And so we were talking about readings we had to do. And he was like, yeah, I just don't know when I'm gonna have time. And I was like, do it in your Uber, read in your Uber. He was like, I got a car now. I'm a true Angelino. I got a car. And I was like, okay, sorry, Mr. Chancellor Brown, you got your car. And so I was excited for him. And we talked about LA drivers and all kind of stuff like that. And upon hearing of his passing, I went back and looked at the last text message he sent me, or that we were sending to one another. And he was asking me about the person who did my meal prep. And so I knew that he was definitely a much healthier person than I was lifestyle wise, but he kind of had encouraged me to do better. So I was like, I got somebody who does my meal prep. I don't cook as much now that my son is in here. And so we were exchanging information about meal preps, and I gave him my guy's information. And he said, Jazz, life is moving fast. And at that time I was at church, and so I didn't have the opportunity to respond on that Sunday because it was literally the Sunday before. And, I regret not taking a moment just to respond to that. And just to know that that was his last message, and to know that his life moved a lot faster than any of us could have ever imagined. It definitely hit me hard. I know a lot of us were truly affected by this in ways that we could never imagine. And so for you guys, I just pray that God continues to give you peace in the situation, that he continues to just surround you all with love, that he continues to be able to show you how much you meant in his life, and that it has transcended into our lives. And that as you go on days, that every day will become better. And I know you will never be the same, but that you embrace the new normal that you have been given, and knowing that we here will always have love for Kian and for you guys for letting us just have a piece of his life for the time that he was here. We are truly grateful for who he was, and he will never, ever, ever be forgotten. I know that the university is doing so many things in his honor, and I know that those things will allow his legacy to continue to move forward. I know that his alma mater will continue to allow his legacy to live. So know that he will always be present with us. His memories will never die. Although he is absent from the body, we know that he is present with the Lord, but that his spirit will forever live within each and every one of us. So I thank you, and I pray for you guys. God bless.
Hi, my name is Yas Hardaway, and I'm with GSEP Career Services. I had the honor of meeting with Kian twice through Career Services, and even just after the first session, I was so inspired by him. I was inspired by the work that he did through SGA. I was inspired by his reason for pursuing a doctorate, and I was inspired by his dreams. Kian struck me as someone who dreamt big, and not just locally, but globally. He also struck me as the type of person who could achieve those dreams, which is why I was so saddened by his loss. He had important work to do, and I'm just having to trust that the impression that he left on me, the impact that he had on me in such a short, brief period of time, that he impacted others even more deeply and profoundly. And those seeds that he planted will carry on and live onward in ways that we probably can't imagine right now. So with that, I just share my deepest condolences for such a profound and significant loss. Thank you.
Hello to Kian's family. First of all, I just want to, send my condolences to the family. Kian will be dearly missed by the Pepperdine family, by my personal family. My name is Myron Fletcher. I happen to enroll with Kian through Pepperdine's organizational leadership program. I just remember the first day I actually saw him, he was, you could just tell he was a go-getter. You could tell he was somebody who his mind was made up and he was on a mission. When a lot of people leave, I always, tell people the richest place on the earth is the grave, because there's so many books that weren't written, so many visions that weren't, actually lived and created. In Kian's case, he actually laid down what he wanted to do. He invited people to his visions. He invited people with his plans. There was, leadership conferences he wanted to start and develop. He did that. There were other conferences and outreach initiatives and activities he wanted to do. He did that. He's established and left so much out there for us to take and to keep pushing the ball forward. So thank you all for, raising him, and really allowing him to grow and develop and giving him the support he needed. He always talked about how much he loved his family. Me and him had a really good relationship. It's hurtful to see somebody, so young and so healthy, go away. But at the end of the day, we do know that what God has planned for us is for us. And I know Kian would definitely agree with that statement. And we always talked about how life was short and we have to live every day like it's our last. And I would say, if nobody lived every day like it was last, it was definitely him. He was a hustler. He was a go-getter. We linked very well. I'm going to Egypt in a week, and we had so many things planned that we wanted to do, but I'm still going to do them, and I'm going to do it in remembrance of him. So thank you. We love you. We love you, Kian's family. Have a great day.
My name is Linda, and I had the privilege and pleasure of working with Kion in the recent Achieve Together Leadership and Belonging Summit. I also got to know him during the doctoral orientation this year as we started the program together at GSEP. When I think of Kion and our meetings, I just think of his fire and his passion, his ability to make things happen, and just making me believe that whatever we talked about, whatever we dreamed of and envisioned would happen as well. We spoke a lot about how important it is to make people feel that they matter and they belong, so that they can lead effectively, they can engage in their space meaningfully because they feel like they belong. And I truly believe that Kion has a special gift to lead in that way that he believes in. And I think the summit was just a tiny glimpse of his leadership and his light, that he made such a big impact in everyone's life, that, you know, if they knew Kion, you know, they know of his vision and his passion. And I feel so blessed and so lucky to have known him and worked with him closely. And I'm just inspired, and will continue to be inspired by his passion and his light.
My parents have lived a life of service and a life of really pouring into other people's children. And I think that is just exceptional. And I'm in this moment connecting to why I'm so passionate about what I do. You know, and I'm just recognizing this moment how blessed I am. Just learning these standards for life, for success, are important to prepare. I learned so much at NCCU, but I learned more outside of NCCU. My prayer is that we push it younger. That stuff that I learned in 15 years outside of school, I should have learned at school.